Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reacts where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Elise Weeps titled Liquid Peace, and if we switch over to here we have ourselves a track on the screen on Spotify with the art up on the screen there with the snake coming out of the eye socket, and we're going to listen through this track from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it, what do we got? Apparently this is their first track. I love the bass response and that texture to it. Oh. Seeking refuge in that liquid peace. It's a hell of a track, man. I love the variety compositionally, structurally as well. Oh, that pinch.
Every sip taking more. Can't find a way. A steep price to pay. Embrace the chill. Morning light reveals.
Holy crap, man. This is something really special. And back to that original concept there with the but that melodic or harmonic minor thing with the electric guitars, the jaws were just beautiful, man. And that's our fade out. That is our track Liquid Peace from Elise Weeps. We're going to talk about it more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Elise Weeps titled Liquid Peace. Now, what do I think this track is about? I think it's about someone struggling with alcoholism. You know, they're trying to find an escape from their life, their difficulties, their struggles, and they're drowning in it. I think that's what this track is about. As someone, without going too far into it, personally, I do feel better when I drink. I mean, I can kind of relate to this. I think there are a lot of people who may either have issues with dependency or just who, for different reasons, of course. This will have an audience, is what I'm trying to communicate, and I appreciate that. I think that the vocals within this track were phenomenal. The vocal fry that we had in certain parts, the different melodies and how they worked fantastically with the mixture of different guitar, bass, and drum parts. The way that we screamed at that last part there, that final line, that ferocity, that power there was tremendous. Just we continued to demonstrate throughout the song that we had more and more and more in our ammo, and we just unloaded, and it was just wild, and it's just so effective. It really does communicate the struggle that we're going through, and I just think it's so authentic and so affecting. I think another thing I appreciate is just structurally the variety of different ideas musically within this piece. Like we start with those kind of lower key kind of bass sort of synthy parts there. And we're kind of got an interesting kind of panning or affectation on them where they kind of go around the stereo field. And it's almost like it's very soothing in its range there. We keep going down and down and down. And then suddenly, guitar riff there, the kind of vibrato there, the kind of fizzling, kind of spicy lead tone over top of the power chord elements there, the bass guitar sort of like backing up the root notes of those chords. The drums, just with the power behind those, the consistency of the groove and the hit, as well as keeping the tempo and strict sort of rhythm, kind of like being very sort of like reliable. Very comfortable working across the kit with a variety of different sort of like double kick, snare, and tom patterns there in a way that is rhythmically sound for what's going on with the sort of twin guitars up top there. We allow so much space for everything else though. And we go between these palm muted kind of components there where we're a bit more low key and the vocals kind of go down a little bit as well. And then we rise back up. So structurally a fantastic track with really interesting ideas with the sort of like guitar and twin parts, the leads there, the sort of leads or the alt leads there. The sort of the bell curve we have going up in intensity in the middle before we kind of peter out and fade out at the end there. It's just we're really trying to have this be an intriguing experience throughout, kind of having a handheld, but it being a brutal experience with the conclusion and the fade out at the end. I just think overall, the outside of the production being fantastically handled there, I love that it's not too overproduced, not too overpolished there. There's a bit of grit and kind of grittiness to it and a kind of graininess to it, but in a way where it just sounds like it's a live performance from a rock out, like a metal grunge alt band that really knows what they're doing. It's that we have the theme with the scale choices there, the chord choices, etc. It's very kind of like assertive. It's like we're standing our ground, going down with the palm mutes, like sort of seeping in our mire. But then we come back and almost like we were trying to rise out of the pool that we're kind of drowning in, screaming for help. It's the music communicates that incredibly well with that little break afterwards, back to the last kind of like repent or the attempt to kind of get out of it with the fervor of those lead guitars there with the vibratos there, that incredibly intense sort of like theme there that was at the start, repeated at the end before the fade out, almost sort of insinuating that this us calling out with the increasing urgency and intensity of it is maybe all for nothing because of the fact that we kind of fade out at the end. It's an interesting journey we go on here, but thematically with the choice of the different power chord elements like the minor leaning and stuff like that, the Phrygian mode, it's indicating that things are far less than just uncomfortable, that we're really struggling. But it's just a really mature performance. And so I don't think there's anything I'd personally want to change about this. I feel that it's incredibly competent across the board. Fantastic first impression to Elise Weeps and their work. And this is my review of their track titled Liquid Peace. And hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out their various social medias and a Spotify page and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And by the way, just in case I didn't mention it, this is also available on other digital streaming platforms and stuff like that via Linktree. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.